We'll go to Mike Gray first, and then we'll go to Ellis Wright second. But they're just mocking through it.
Good. Good. It's a good thing to do. Great thing.
All right, my man
here we
Joshua
go.
Carr.
Oh.
Hornets basketball returns to the Hive for Alumni Day celebrations in Turner Gymnasium. ODAC basketball comes to you live on the Lynchburg Sports Network and Flo College as Lynchburg hosts Shenandoah and looks to remain undefeated for the new year. Hi everybody, welcome in. Evan Gates alongside my good friend Kyle Haney. And Kyle, the last 3 meetings between these two ball clubs have been decided by a combined 12 points. You just feel like the theatrics are going to be there this afternoon.
I get that feeling as well. It's just, it doesn't feel like must-win time yet in the ODAC. But as you said, these teams always ultra competitive, close games. No reason to think anything different today. And it is a game, as you start getting deeper into that ODAC schedule here in January, you don't want to look back on this and say, what if? What if we'd have closed that game out? What if we'd have won by 5 instead of lost by 5?
No doubt about it. And last year, Pearson Young, a game-winning shot with just about 4 seconds to go in that contest here in Turner to clinch it. You feel like we have another good one on the slate as you take a look at the tail of the tape. This Lynchburg team performing very well on the offensive side, a high-tempo squad. Shenandoah is one of the slowest teams in the land, and perhaps that could be the big difference in this game.
It'll be a juxtaposition of styles. Does Shenandoah try to slow it down and make Lynchburg play a bit of their game? Do the Hornets get up and down like they want to? 94 points or more for Lynchburg in 3 of their last 5, so the scoring is picking up.
No doubt about it. And as we take a look at our player to watch for Lynchburg, you talk about the scoring starting to pick up. Michael Gray had a season-high 19 points in his last time out. You do remember that big postseason push where he was so dominant last year, and if he can get hot now, it's going to be a dangerous sign.
There were times in February and March of last year where he really was the best player on the floor. Don't know if he's a slow starter. You don't know what the circumstances are, but it seems like Michael Gray, much like last season, is really starting to rise to the occasion and play his best basketball.
Had a career-high 34 points in that ODAC semifinal versus Roanoke in 7 games with 20-plus last season. Looking to get back to that mark, but he's going to have a tall task on the other side. A little bit of a taller opponent in Ellis Wright, who has led the charge for the Shenandoah squad throughout the season. 5th in ODAC scoring, and you just feel like if this team is going to bring the test to Turner, they're going to have to rely on him down low.
He's a true inside-outside combo, a taller guard that can go bang around with the tall timber. He can also step out and shoot the 3, 40% from long distance this year for Ellis Wright.
And by the way, he is 6'7", so you talk about that size and that perimeter skill. It is a very big balance. Kyle, we go into this game, and the new year has started to treat Lynchburg well. They get the win on the road at Eastern Mennonite. But this is a conference that is very unforgiving. You've got a 3-game stretch coming up with some of the best teams in the conference. Of course, Virginia Wesleyan, Hampton-Sydney, and Roanoke. How does Lynchburg handle business and try to take it 1 game at a time? Well,
I think you summed it up there. Take it 1 game at a time. Take it 1 play at a time. That's something Hillary Scott talks about. Win this play. Be better than the opponent on this play. And if you can do that enough times, you're not going to be 100%. But if you can do that enough times, it should come out to a good result. But you're right, for both of these teams, I mean, it is an interesting time of the season. You've got to lick your chops when you see a team that's not receiving votes or ranked in the ODAC, right? You know you got to deal with the Roanoks and the Hampton-Sydneys and the Randolph-Macons. So if you can get a win in a game like this, it's going to be big for you down the stretch and a chance to get into that ODAC tournament. And as we've seen, you never know what can happen in the tournament.
Coach Scott and company confident for this one against the Shenandoah squad who looks to get its first win in the conference. It's the battle of the Hornets, Lynchburg and Shenandoah. On the other side, we'll have lineups and tip. Stick with us.
Be ready for anything, okay?
Come on, let's go together. Together, let's go. Come on. Let's go, keep going.
There's the best shit. Straight? Straight up, yep. Yeah. Cool.
Come on, there you go, come on. Don't give up,
Good one.
All right, guys. guys. You see the meat grinder down here. Stay in the boat. Let's go. Oh, what'd you think of that? Woo!
Welcome back inside Turner Gymnasium, just set for action between the opposing Hornets and the hometown Hornets. Shenandoah takes on Lynchburg. Let's take a look at the starters first for Shenandoah. Very familiar lineup if you have kept up with this club throughout the year. Joseph Baldwin will be out there with Dorian Davis, who, by the way, both of which have started every game this year. Ellis Wright, the player to watch, with Matthew Simmons and John Allen down low. And Kyle, this is a lineup, as we just said, consistency is key. They've gone with it throughout the entire season.
I really like this lineup. I think they complement each other. Shenandoah will get good production from their bench. I will say this, Wednesday against Roanoke in a blowout loss, only 9 bench points for Shenandoah. You have a feeling that needs to improve for them to have success today.
We'll have a lot to talk about with that matchup, but 34 points allowed in that one for Roanoke was tied for the fewest allowed since 1956, so a historic result for the Maroons, as Lynchburg goes with a familiar lineup as well. Jake Hart at the point, Pearson Young, and Jesse Mitchell, who has been a big-time newcomer into the starting lineup this season. Jason Easton, the flamethrower, with Jamarcus Brown down low, who has scored double figures in every game.
Jamarcus Brown currently 4th in ODAC in scoring. Oh, by the way, 2nd in rebounds, 2nd in blocks, a true do-it-all guy. And yeah, you and I were both talking about Jesse Mitchell. You know, didn't really know what his role was going to be coming into the season, but he has fit right in with not only the ball club, but the starting lineup now.
This Lynchburg team has been very formidable to start the year, but Shenandoah was as well. They went 6-0 in the non-conference slate before they approached ODAC play. Yes, it is one of the toughest conferences in Division III, but you feel like they've started to find their footing a little bit again against some of these tougher opponents.
Yeah, I think playing the tough competition, it should make you better, and so often you do rise to the level of your competition as well. So I expect to see that tonight. I mean, for Shenandoah, only 1 win since November, 1 win since that great start. So you got to have a feeling that they're hungry. I wouldn't say that Shenandoah is desperate. I don't think Nick Doyle would encourage his guys to be desperate, but Shenandoah will be very hungry here today.
It feels like when you've seen everybody in the conference, that can help things out because there are giants around the ODAC. But this is a matchup, as we always expect, will be very tight and very physical as John Allen meets Jamarcus Brown at the center circle We are up and away from Turner Gymnasium, and the hometown crew corrals the tip. Hornets and the home Grays, Shenandoah and the visiting Reds. Lynchburg looking to really push the pace. Coach Scott has preached consistency has been the key, Aaron, these last few weeks. Good tight defense as Young tries to pull up on the mid-range, drew the foul. That's going to be the first on Matthew Simmons. Fifth year out of New Paltz, New York, and Young just got to that spot first.
Yeah, he loves that spot. I mean, he's really great from all the spots, but guys do end up favoring particular areas. And then now with the analytics and the data, you know, we're finding, yeah, you really are a higher percentage from right here or right there. So pretty good opening sequence there for Lynchburg.
The kids nowadays call it foul baiting, and it's been such a big part of the professional level because you see so many players starting to capitalize on it. Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, two of the best, and honestly, if you can get there, contact is contact.
Yeah, I think we could spend the rest of the game breaking down the nuances of foul baiting and debating where it should fall in the game. But I think it's always been part of the game, just talked about a little bit more now.
Straightaway three left of the rim for Davis. Lynchburg looks to push. Beautiful bounce pass. Here comes the jackhammer. Jamarcus leaves no doubt. And 4-0 Lynchburg early.
He can make everybody in the gym stand up with moments like that. Sometimes you have to wait. This one comes less than 60 seconds into the game.
Beautiful find on the bounce pass. Shenandoah quickly looking for their first bucket. Floater off balance. Ellis Wright uses that size. Some nifty moves and theatric plays to get this one started here in the Hill City. Alumni Day for Lynchburg as the pass is disrupted. Dorian Davis now looking to his right. Ellis Wright will set up the offense. Shifty move to get Jake Hart on the ground. Offensive rebound. Laser passes they find right beyond the perimeter. No good. Another offensive board. They'll stick with Shenandoah.
Yeah, good sequence right there. John Allen, Bowie, Maryland, doing the hard work, the heavy lifting downstairs to get Shenandoah a few extra chances. Good ball movement, too, from the Hornets. That's going to pay off.
Ellis Wright looks confident in that stroke. Another triple.
Yeah, it'll go under the second chance point category. It's actually a third chance there with multiple offensive rebounds. And I got to remember not to use the nickname too much because both teams are Hornets again, if you didn't know.
That's right. Going into the thesaurus for this one. Ellis Wright has all five for Shenandoah. Hart surveys. Here's Mitchell. Strong dribbles to the rack. Up and the hoop and harm. Jesse Mitchell, the junior transfer, getting a chance to add one to the tally.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 6 seconds of basketball so far, and we're already getting treated to some really good stuff. Early salvos from both teams. I think the fans are enjoying it here. Sometimes these afternoon games, Evan, can be a little dull. Fans, you know, slept in on a Saturday morning. Plus, it's rainy outside. This one is shaping up to not be dull at all.
No doubt about it, and very fortunate to have an indoor sport on a day like this in the heart of January. Foul is on John Allen, who has the basketball. Reverses to the other side, Matthew Simmons. The find down low. Kicks out, straightaway three, swishes it home.
Big time for Shenandoah. A couple early threes. They did not shoot the three-pointer well against Roanoke Wednesday, 4 of 22. This is better.
Jamarcus Brown with an and one of his own. Got right back to the spot. Lynchburg using these and ones to their advantage. How about the physicality? Jamarcus Brown in this offseason was really praised for his shooting ability and just the growth in that department, but he hasn't lost that touchdown low.
No, he's still got that. Big, strong guy. We know about the leaping ability, but he really uses the strength with the shoulders and the hips nicely as well. That's what those greats do down low. They work you with the shoulder. They don't extend the arm and the elbow.
Now the Hornets searching. They've used that three ball well to start this ball game. A few dribbles from Simmons. Looking on the spin, somehow kept that pivot foot. 5 on the shot clock. It's going to have to be a quick one from Dorian Davis, who spins and hoists.
That's fantastic right there. Way to use up the clock. Pretty good defense from Lynchburg, but I think a Shenandoah possession they're going to like.
Jason Easton couldn't get it to fall. Jamarcus Brown cleanup duties down low. That's a Lynchburg trademark. They use the three ball well. They use transition, but when you have Brown down low, it really helps you out.
8 rebounds per game, and you know if he gets an offensive rebound, he's smart. He's going to go right back to the iron usually.
Brown strong to start this ball game. Had 2 double-doubles last year, already at 5 for the season. A massive lead as another big-time shot falls for Matthew Simmons. Not missing their stroke to start this ball game. And Lynchburg just clipped that baseline. So it's going to be out of bounds. Shenandoah takes over on the side. 16:02 to go in the Hill City. As advertised, a very tight matchup as Seth Sanusi gets his first minutes.
The first substitute in the ball game, 4 minutes in. Again, great opening sequence right here.
And no time wasted on the offensive end. Dorian Davis gets to the rack. Jason Easton, similar spot from the first three and knocks it home.
Pulling up on the break right there. Early offense in the clock and a backcourt violation, Evan. That's just a little lackadaisical by Shenandoah, not taking care of the basketball in a simple thing.
Back and forth we go, a seesaw affair to get Alumni Day started right here in Turner Gymnasium. Knotted up at 14 as we come back on the other side.
My name is Davion Washington Jr. I have the honor of serving as the student body president. I have 5 little siblings. I'm the oldest of 6 siblings, and they look up to me. I'm setting the tone. I get to develop myself, make myself a better individual, but also I'm helping future generations, not even my family, but just future generations in general. I found my passion here. I found, the love for what I want to do. I just really had an amazing time here. It's changed, my outlook on life. You don't have to be famous to change lives. You don't have to be on the big.
Fast and furious start here in Lynchburg, 14 apiece through just 4 minutes and change of action. As Lynchburg gets the basketball, backcourt violation on Joe Baldwin for Shenandoah. A little bit of a lackadaisical start. Hornets now looking around the perimeter. Great find down low to Pearson Young. Tries to connect the dots in the paint, draws the contact. That'll be another personal, this time on Dorian Davis. So Young has 2 more free throws, a chance to break the tie. And Kyle, this is a Shenandoah team, as we talked about. Took some time to find their footing early in the year, but you feel like you really want to have a quick start to this game knowing you just put up 34 points in that last loss to Roanoke.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. You want to erase that bad taste out of your mouth really quickly, and there was a lot of things that went wrong for Shenandoah in that game. Nobody really shot it well, nobody in double figures. They only got 8 points in the paint, they being Shenandoah, 9 bench points, which we mentioned. So this is a better start for Shenandoah, but again, you want to move past that Roanoke performance as quickly as you can.
Single-digit bench points, an interesting note, because this is a Lynchburg team that had 54. A little bit of physicality on the rebound. Shenandoah, another offensive board. And so while the Hornets have their starting lineup now, they'll be more than comfortable to go to their bench as it's gone out of bounds. Hornets take over.
Well, one thing Shenandoah is doing well in this game is rebounding. We saw another offensive rebound there. So that's a nice change from that Roanoke loss as well. They were minus 14, got out rebounded 34-20 in that matchup. So that's what I mean about nothing really went well for Shenandoah against the Maroons of Roanoke. And that game was in Winchester too, so that makes it sting a bit more.
Now, undoubtedly, Roanoke is a team that is one of the best in the country, ranked 15th in D3 right now, but you would certainly like to move past that. Jason Easton tries to get that dribble right to the baseline. Here's Young. Few pump fakes. Turns on the fadeaway. Got everything but the make. Offensive rebound. Corralled for a moment by Mitchell. Couldn't get it cleanly. Lynchburg will keep the basketball. Substitutions as our player to watch, Mike Gray, enters the contest. A season-high 19 points last time out versus Eastern Mennonite.
Just a guy that everybody on campus, I think, has fallen in love with his game. Mike Gray, a PG County, Maryland guy. You know, there's another great basketball player from PG County, Maryland. He just moved past Wilt Chamberlain on the all-time scoring list.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Kevin Durant.
That's exactly right.
Michael Gray wasted no time on that jumper, short corner, and oh wow, Jake Hart had to take the harm that time. A smart play from Shenandoah to retain possession. Tell you what, so many of the greats in the NBA right now still in the league.
Yeah.
You've got the chance to still enjoy the years of LeBron James and Steph Curry, KD, all at the same time. And you know, in a few years, we won't be able to say that.
Yeah, well, and they're all playing at a pretty high level right now still as well. And that's so much fun to watch. And then this new crop that we have is incredible, too.
Nice balance of the young and old as the jumper's off the mark. Rebounded by Easton. Lynchburg took about 2 seconds to get across half court. Couldn't find Eli Thomas, who had to try and dive to keep it inbounds. Another substitute, DeAndre Ross, steps into the game.
Yeah, great to see DeAndre Ross back. You know, a couple years ago, he was kind of the Jamarcus Brown. He was the high-flying dunk artist, and he could still do that. And it's, again, a nice compliment to what Hillary Scott has done with the roster construction when you've got multiple guys that can just throw it down on your head any time in the ballgame.
He was trying to go between the legs and warm-ups. He got really close. Shenandoah almost throwing the ball away. Had to be careful. Here's Samuel Daly. Looks to the right side, down low to Baldwin. Has to go with 4 on the shot clock. Goes left hand up, and he'll be fouled. Jamarcus Brown picks up his first personal.
Like this play here by Baldwin, he's a 6'5" guy. I think the tendency is to go straight to the rim. Baldwin goes across the lane, right to left, stresses the defense in a slightly different way, and it freed himself up enough to get the shot off. He couldn't get the and one, but a savvy play right there, and everything inside has been just as much fun to watch as the perimeter shooting.
Has that talent to get down low, but also skills from beyond the perimeter. Unfortunately, it hasn't been there as of late. Just 1 for his last 9. So any opportunity you can take, except the free throws are off the mark. Missed them both, and Jake Hart tries to get transition started. Brown goes up off balance and cleans the window.
He is so good at that. Runs the middle of the floor. He's looking for the ball, and his teammates are looking to get it to him.
That connection has been there all year long as Daly gets the shot up. He's fouled. We'll wait to see who the foul was on. If that's Jamarcus Brown again, that's 2 quick ones.
Well, and that's classic basketball, a way to neutralize the other team's star, and I think we can all call Jamarcus Brown a star. Way to neutralize those guys and gals sometimes is to go at them and try to get them in foul trouble. And it looks like it's enough to make Hillary Scott pull Jamarcus Brown, at least for now. I feel sure we'll see him again in the first half, but you never really know. You might not want to risk it. Coach Scott might wait till half number 2 to go back to Jamarcus Brown.
J.J. Henderson, Jaden Powmore in the game for Lynchburg as the free throw rattles home. 2-point lead for Lynchburg and some full court pressure from Shenandoah. Perhaps waiting for the substitutes to come into the game. Ross gets across with no problem. Crossover, just couldn't hold on to the basketball. Now the reversal. Powmore with the double screen, looks around. No separation and strong defense from Nick Doyle's squad. Searching for an opportunity, and Gray has it swatted away, and the shot clock will expire. Everyone on their feet on the Shenandoah bench.
Just incredible individual defense here. I think this starts as an ordinary closeout, and I believe it was Dorian Davis that realized, hey, I'm close enough to block this.
That wasn't just a tip either.
Yeah.
He got that hand across, and there's an offensive foul called off ball, as that was an opportunity for Landon Russ. Another substitute for Shenandoah as Matthew Simmons will re-enter the game along with Seth Sanusi. This is a Shenandoah team that really uses their substitutes throughout the game. 13 players average at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, Dorian Davis, the only one averaging 30 minutes or more. So you're right, everybody else basically kind of in that playing half the game mode. He's 3/4 of the game.
Ross, pull-up jumper, front iron and out, but Palmore collected the offensive board and swishes it home.
Right place, right time there, Evan. Sorry, and good IQ to go right back up with it. And tough range there, that 7 to about 11-foot range. That can be tricky.
Well, sometimes for your first bucket of the game, you feel like you got to dribble, you got to make things happen. Sometimes it's as simple as just throwing the ball up. Shot a little too short, and a nice tip from Simmons to keep it inbounds. Ellis Wright looks for the jumper and a little too soft. Here comes Gray. Bounce pass to Palmore. Next one to Ross. Gets down low and taken away. Here's that athleticism on display, just couldn't capitalize. Sanusi dishes off to Daly. One-on-one as Wright tries to get back to the hoop and puts it home. Wow.
Such a tricky cover right there. Great play. Kind of has a pass fake in there and then high off the window. I think Henderson's doing a really good job, but Ellis Wright is just, he's got that deep of a bag.
J.J. Henderson searching for his first points, goes up, and he'll have freebies.
This is almost mirror image of what we talked about with Jamarcus Brown. Ellis Wright is the star scorer for Shenandoah, so take it right to him. See if he'll draw a foul. He does, his second.
We've got a good one here in the Hill City. Just south of 10 minutes, Lynchburg in front, 20-18 on LHSN and Flo College. Stick with us.
I was really attracted to Lynchburg primarily because my dad went here. He is an alum, so I kind of had that close tie of being interested in this school. And the school had what I wanted to study. I knew I wanted to help people in the area of health and wellness, so the health promotion program was definitely a program that drew me in. And from day one, I've been in love with it, and I wouldn't have chosen any different. I have never had better professors or teachers in my life, and I think here at the University of Lynchburg, the professors definitely care about their students, especially in the health promotion department. These professors want you to be educated, want you to have the experience, and just want you to feel confident going into your career path following your collegiate education. You just feel like you're cared for here and that you matter, and that no matter what, at the end of the day, you're going to be successful, and the people here really want to be here, and everyone has a purpose, and it's just a great environment to be in.
Welcome back here in Turner Gymnasium. 2 shots for J.J. Henderson as Lynchburg leads by 2. And the early goings of this one, a matchup that has always been close. Last 3 meetings decided by a combined 12 points. The last 5 in single figures. Would like to extend happy birthday wishes to Betty Scott, Coach Hillary Scott's mother. Always an exciting day in January. You feel like, you know, after the holidays, some people kind of get into the dog days. Well, a birthday in January helps.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big Groundhog Day fan, but that doesn't come till February, so you're right. We got MLK Day coming up. That's always fun. And speaking of the NBA, they always do their little showcase there, so that'll be cool.
Always a great sports month, even when it's not one of those crossover times. Hometown crew up by 3, a little bit of pressure at half court. Shenandoah looks for the corner. Daly thought about it. Laser pass across the court. Baldwin pulls, can't get the 3 to go. We mentioned it earlier, struggling from three-point land lately. Gray, oh, how about the pass? Just copied and pasted it down into the paint, and Henderson will have 2 more free throws.
Michael Gray brings that element as well. A fantastic passer, great court vision, and he's not afraid to have a little razzle-dazzle in there as well. How cool was that?
Class hasn't started yet. I'm pretty sure that had a little bit of English on it, though, as J.J. Henderson goes to the stripe. First one is true. Shenandoah, a team that also has a tough schedule. I think you can say that with anybody in the ODAC at this part of the year. And you look at some of the efficiency ratings. Well, these two teams have a strength of schedule that's within the top 30 teams in the nation for the remainder of the year. And that's just how good the ODAC is.
Yeah, and that tells you if you can get through the ODAC, then you can really compete with anybody. And the hardest part is getting through the ODAC and maybe sometimes even getting in the tournament.
Corner three, swished home, and a look to the bench from Baldwin. And tell you what, Roanoke experienced that last year, getting a few wins in the NCAA tournament, as Gray has it swiped away under the bucket. You know, you never know what's going to happen if you can get to that stage, and that's why it's so imperative that this part of the year, you're still forcing so hard to go and get to that tournament.
And think about last year as well. Lynchburg had Roanoke on the ropes in this gym, let a big lead go away. That tells you there's not a lot of separation from anybody in this league.
Pass up the court, Baldwin right to the rim, wins the foot race, and Shenandoah ties it back up at 23.
Yeah, good fast break fundamentals right there. Know what areas you're going to go to and the angles you're going to take as you head to the rim.
6 conference games today. We'll keep our eyes peeled as several of them started at 2. Palmore looks down low. Eli Thomas got down low and perfect positioning.
Great passing there from Henderson. Little snap, crackle, pop by Lynchburg to get a good look downstairs.
Shenandoah has certainly found their footing in the field goal department. This time it won't rattle home as Matthew Simmons is fouled in transit.
I mean, you look at field goal numbers here at Lynchburg, 8 for 15, 53%, just north of it. Shenandoah, 9 for 17, 52.9%. Really think that that's part of what's making the game very pleasing to watch for the fans, I think. You see a lot of shots going in.
Not seeing your pack line defense where it's first to 30.
Yeah.
And, you know, in a game like this is just carryover for Lynchburg from the last few games in that field goal department where they shot 60% in the second half against EMU.
Yeah, it was a fantastic performance. And remember, that was erasing kind of a bad second half against Randolph-Macon. They only made 4 field goals in that second half in Ashland. So I think you take that half out of there, and you're right. The last maybe 8 to 9 halves of basketball, offense has been great for Lynchburg.
3-point shot, count it. Jaden Palmore, smooth stroke to put Lynchburg up 5. Pass goes all the way around. Shenandoah trying to keep in DeAndre Ross, hustling and winning the ball in possession. Goes down low, up, around, and almost in. Lynchburg generating a little bit of pace. Shenandoah saying we'll match it. Michael Gray gets the pass forward. Palmore with the finish. That is pretty basketball from the hometown team to go up a touchdown. You love the track races when they go your way, and Lynchburg has found the lead. 8:14 in the first half remaining. And we'll be right back from Turner Gymnasium.
Get small classes, nationally recognized mentoring and advising, and a community that has your back every step of the way at the University of Lynchburg.
At the University of Lynchburg, we've lowered our tuition, so you get a better value for a great education.
The party has started here in Lynchburg, and Palmore flushed home the three to get it, and a really nice rhythm for Lynchburg. They have just continued to play strong basketball and quick basketball. That is the Hillary Scott brand as they lead 30-23. Shenandoah basketball, Kyle. What do the opposing Hornets have to do to make sure that this lead doesn't escalate during the first half? Visitors have to hold on to the ball. Part of the reason why they're down 7 now. Those turnovers, Lynchburg taking advantage.
And yeah, the home team really smart about when they see the ball about to get popped free. One guy is already taken off and running and beating the defense down. It's not a cherry pick. It's not one of those. They're waiting for the turnover, but once that happens, they're gone.
3-point shot off the mark. Rebound rattles all around it. Eli Thomas will connect 4 to try and keep it in. High fives from everybody.
What a great thing about our game right there. He's not going to get a stat. It doesn't go down as a steal or a rebound. Actually, it might now that I think about it. But either way, I mean, it's just a heady play, and it's smart. Great combo of the smarts and the athleticism there for Thomas to get to that ball and slap it off the Shenandoah player.
Lynchburg's bench outscoring Shenandoah's 12-2 right now, and that is certainly where the advantage has been secured in the last few weeks. This Lynchburg team uses its depth as Michael Gray is one of those bench players, gets the pass to Pearson Young, and a pretty finish.
That's a dime there from Mike Gray. A little bobble from Pearson Young, but the defense was already on the losing side of that equation with where the pass got him the ball.
Perfect trigonometry to get the angle off the backboard, and another three no good. Ellis Wright wasn't even looking at the rim when he went up. Touched the sky and went through for 2.
6'7" guy with springs in his shoes. He's going to do that to you.
Gray. Oh, the step back, getting fancy with it. Bingo. 5 for 3. That's the stroke you know and love.
Bag work from Michael Gray. Got the crowd on their feet here.
Shenandoah doing everything they can as Palmore got that foot up. Substitutions as Jake Hart re-enters the contest, and Jaden Palmore had strong contributions in his few minutes.
Lynchburg's played 10. They all have more than 5 minutes. Nobody has more than 8 minutes played, though. Evan, that's the balance that Coach Scott is going with, starters and bench. Great contributions, as you said, up and down the roster.
Feels like everybody has been able to contribute. You think about the injury bug at this stage of the year, and it feels like a lot of those mainstays have stuck in the starting lineup as Wright was clipped going up. You know, you think about last year at this time, Jason Easton was already out for the season, one of the big three-point shooters for this Lynchburg team, and obviously Derek Ross Jr. has been dealing with some nagging issues, but ultimately you get a chance to keep this crew together going into the heart of ODAC play. You never know what's going to happen.
I think you're right. When you're healthy, the coach then has options. The coach can play those matchup games. The coach can play the hot hand game. When you're limited by injuries, all of a sudden it takes away some of those options as a coach. And certainly every coach has had to deal with this, at least if you've coached for more than a year or two. You're going to run into some injury issues. So Coach Scott has done well when he's had the full complement, all the arrows in the quiver, and he's been able to figure things out when sometimes injuries do cause problems.
It feels like in his 18th season, he is certainly looking for the bullseye. Lynchburg up by 9, just about 6:20 to play. Pass disrupted, and Henderson couldn't hold on cleanly. Shenandoah will take the basketball. Tyler Buggs gets his first minutes, along with Jesse Mitchell back on the court. So still no Jamarcus Brown yet, who picked up 2 quick fouls early in the game. But he had the first few points for this Lynchburg team at 8. He still leads the Hornets.
Highlight reel dunk early in the game for Jamarcus Brown. But yeah, we're getting our answer somewhat about when Coach Scott wants to put him back in with 2 fouls.
Mismatch down low as Ellis Wright tries to get past Pearson Young. Better defense and a strong move up with that right hand. Just flicked it through.
I think Pearson Young did well not to foul there, but again, that's Ellis Wright, his quality. He is A+.
Hart harass Now the reversal. Pearson Young tries to find Mitchell down low. Going for the mid-range. The fake goes through off the glass. That is pure from Pearson.
Dorian Davis lifted there and went under. Actually kind of banged his head as he went through and still made the shot.
Look at the physicality Pearson Young plays with as well. Just a handprint on this game at any point. And a foul that's a cheap one, far away from the bucket. Michael Gray, the contact on Landon Russ.
Go back to this length from Shenandoah. I mean, when you get John Allen out there at 6'10", and you're playing with Ellis Wright, who is 6'7", it is a team that can use their lengths and their height to an advantage. And you maybe wonder sometimes, should Shenandoah try to use it to their advantage more, perhaps?
Oh, Jesse Mitchell just trying to keep it in bounds, couldn't connect with the target. You know, and that's where that three ball becomes a little more dangerous, because this Shenandoah team, when they're shooting well, has more than enough size down low to cause some damage. Ross looks for the inbounds, finds Daly in a nice pump fake. Didn't pull the shot. Here's Davis, mid-range too heavy. Offensive board will keep it with Shenandoah as we enter the final 5 minutes of the half. And a foul well away from home as well. This time on Ellis. Or that will be on Allen, beg your pardon, as he goes to the bench. Seth Sanusi checks in, the freshman from Stafford, Virginia.
Rebounding battle's actually even 11-11. Doesn't it feel like Shenandoah's done better on the glass than Lynchburg? I think that's sometimes why you do need to look at those stats to confirm what you're seeing or change your mind on some things.
I think the coaching staffs are saying the exact same thing, because you watch a game and you're really paying attention to a million different things. That's why there's so many analytics crews as you get into college ball. Pearson Young, the crossover, another one to a spot, tries to go through and diving into the paint, couldn't connect. Here comes Shenandoah on the prowl, still trying to get a bucket to end the scoreless streak, as it's still a 9-point lead favoring Lynchburg. Wright dumps it downstairs, taken away.
Jake Hart with a good stymie right there. Probably the smallest guy on the court, interior D.
Tyler Buggs gets through traffic. He'll have 2 shots. Jake Hart always jump starting the offense on one end, and the connection to the next will always help you out.
Yeah, Jake Hart, jump start's a good word. He can really be that spark plug, kind of a point guard, do a little bit of everything. Does not look to score very often, but so critical for this offense. Buggs is a spark plug kind of a guy as well. He's another fan favorite kind of guy too, with just the way he plays and seems to really enjoy his basketball out there.
2 starts on the season for the junior from Statesboro, Georgia. 54% from the line holds true as he makes 1 of 2. Always adding some defense as well, especially at this stage of the half, as you get some new names on the court. Daly ready for the shot. Couldn't pull the trigger. Lynchburg's defense doing well once again. Shenandoah at 28 points. Still an improvement from that last game as they had 34 in total. Young gets the race started. Easton to Mitchell for 3. Can't knock it home. Lynchburg defense rising to the occasion, but you once again start to see that transition that is right on the doorstep. Baldwin trying to play bully ball down low. Daly ready for 3, no shot. Pass swatted away. Finally an opening and missed everything. That'll be a shot clock violation.
Yeah, if it would have touched the rim, Shenandoah probably would have had another one of those offensive rebounds, but since it was an air ball, shot clock violation. Good defense by Lynchburg there. Really nice job to hold late in the clock, and Shenandoah probably actually liked the possession. Again, they want to play a slower pace, Evan, so they got a good look late in the clock. Just got to knock them down.
Staying poised and elongating that lead to 10. See if Lynchburg holds on as we close out the first half.
Diving in college taught me to strive and be the best athlete I can be, but also the best student I can be. My coaches always made sure that the student comes first, because not everyone's going to become a professional athlete. So they make sure that we will do great in academics. I knew that would only open the door to my future, and I'm really excited to start my dream program for physical therapy.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. And it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Lynchburg having some fun in Turner Gymnasium and starting to see the physicality that has been on display so far. Obviously nobody in immediate foul trouble, but you do feel like that could be a watch in the second half as we have had a feisty pace to it. Lynchburg up 10. Jake Hart ready to command the offense here in the final few minutes of the half. Some zone defense this time from Shenandoah. See if they can find the corner as Tyler Buggs somehow had the ball inserted to him right in the paint, had 3 defenders around.
I think it's the first on Joseph Baldwin, 10th on Shenandoah as a team. I'm probably going to say Buggs is in the active shooting, but it doesn't matter with the 10 fouls.
So he heads back to the free throw line. Can't sink the first one. Lynchburg's upcoming schedule, as we said, 2 tough road tests coming up. Virginia Wesleyan on Wednesday and Hampton-Sydney on Saturday, but they'll return to Turner on Wednesday, January 21st to host Roanoke in a Code Red contest. What a fun one that will be. And, you know, Coach Scott, when asked about the upcoming games, said, you know, it hasn't really been difficult focusing one game at a time. We want to go 1-0 in the game today. And like we said, probably just a testament to the tests they have faced here in the last few weeks.
It's a cliche that you hear from coaches in all sports, but I think the best coaches, as Lynchburg going to come up with a turnover here, a steal, not a steal, but a throwaway by Shenandoah. Finishing the point, I think the best coaches, when they give that one game at a time cliche, Evan, they actually mean it. There's a reason why they're good at what they do, because they believe that, and they get their players to believe, hey, focus on right now. Don't worry about the games ahead. Don't worry about the plays ahead. Let's think about the exact moment we're in right now.
This is a very veteran squad. Obviously, they're not all seniors, but they've played together for a few years now with a lot of the red shirts who have been injured. Jason Easton was injured last year, and that stroke is right back and healthy this season. Another triple to make it a 14-point lead, largest of the game.
Yeah, what a player. Nearby, Buchanan, Virginia, James River High School, not too far from where my guy Evan Gates grew up.
That's right. The rivals in Botetourt County as Shenandoah gets a 3 of their own.
And they needed that. Just the 4th of the game for Shenandoah. They don't want to live and die by the 3, but you got to have some perimeter shooting to keep Lynchburg's defense honest.
Pearson Young wants a screen, trying to go toe-to-toe with Baldwin, and immediately he wants that isolation. Out to the short corner, the fake. Bounce pass disrupted. He's going to take the shot anyways. Rattles out. Thomas over the top. Found the landing strip as he hits it at the summit.
Great bounce right there from Agent Zero. Just a sneak attack mission to get in. Nobody got a body on him. He got a clean takeoff.
Eli Thomas, just such a strong athlete, and the way he approaches this game, you know, we've always talked about his toughness and physicality. It's not always necessarily with the scoring. You just see the stat sheet in every single category as something.
Yeah, 6'3", so he's an undersized forward post player. He gets it done with those hops and then the work ethic, the high motor.
60 seconds to go here in the first half. Nice spin move from Sanusi. Better defense on the recovery. Lynchburg looking to sprint through the finish line, hence the reason Coach Hillary Scott wants the timeout. We'll keep it right here in the Hill City. Plenty to talk about from this first half. Lynchburg really dominating several categories on the stat sheet. We mentioned the bench points, 19-2. But the paint presence as well. You would think it would go Shenandoah's way with their size. Lynchburg has 16 paint points, Shenandoah just 2.
Yeah, and guys like Eli Thomas are part of the reason why. Again, he goes to the right spots. He uses his athleticism. You saw it on that last stick back there, and we got a replay of that. If you don't put a body on him, if you don't hit him below the waist, he's going to get that clean takeoff and use that verticality and use his bounce to beat you. Jamarcus Brown, same way. Obviously, heck, even when you get a body on Jamarcus Brown, he's still going to get a pretty good vertical launch. So I think Lynchburg really doing well, using their gifts, using their strengths. And for Shenandoah, got to make a change. It may be we got to get more body on body. Sometimes that zone defense does make it harder to block out. That was one of the negative things that coaches would talk about running a zone. You don't necessarily have a man that you're supposed to box out.
Very difficult with a lot of that athleticism out there right now for Lynchburg, who perhaps could go 2 for 1. We'll see if that's a product of the timeout. Thomas, top of the arc, dishes to Easton. Just too heavy. Rebound by Baldwin, and the foul is called. I think Jake Hart wanted to travel in that case. That's just the 6th of the half, so not in the bonus yet.
Yeah, and not all of those paint points for Lynchburg are off of offensive rebounds, obviously, but I think it's got to start there with your physicality when the shot goes up. You got to get a body on a body, and again, you really got to hit him below the waist. You got to get that guy mid-thigh with your wallet so you can kind of lock him up and control him with the seal.
Such an art with the timing as well. Russ thought about it. Harassed by Jake Hart. Tight defense around the perimeter from this Lynchburg team. Dorian Davis trying to get fancy wraparound pass to the corner. Open for Russ, no good, and Thomas corrals the rebound. Lynchburg has to go. 5-6 remain. Pass down to Pearson Young, who hoists and misses everything. That is where the half will end. Lynchburg having a little bit of fun with a lot of hustle in this first half. They're up a baker's dozen after 20 minutes. We'll be back for some halftime stats and analysis. It started with the Jamarcus Brown slam, and it ends with a lot of foot races from this Lynchburg team. Stick with us on LHSN and Flow College as we get set for the second half.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go into personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
Hello, my name is Brooke Marcy. I'm the director here at the Dara Museum, but I'm not just the director. I am also a teacher here at University of Lynchburg. I teach drawing and printmaking, and I'm also an artist. I wanted to show you all a little bit about the Dara and what we have to offer, especially to our students. I tell my students that our greatest gift that we give as artists is allowing others to see the way we see. And I truly believe that that is our greatest gift. That is one of the true powers of art, expanding one's horizons, making a person's world bigger. Because I think the bigger our worlds are and the more we know about the worlds in which we live, the more we start to understand ourselves. And art acts as that conduit between kind of getting to know ourselves and getting to know the world around us. As you can see in our collection right here, you can see we have works from Africa and from Asia, from Oceania. Those works are introducing the students to different cultures, different ideas, different traditions. How important to see through those artists' eyes the reason in which those works were created. And when they were created. They're also talking to a time and a space, a time and a place and a space in which very few of us will ever get to go or experience, but we can experience that through the art, thus making our worlds bigger. Over here we have Connie Fox, who's an abstract expressionist. Her work is about true emotion. Just last week I had a class in here. And I asked them, standing in front of that painting over there, I said, what do you see? I asked them to think critically. Critical thought is one of the foundations of education. And how better to explore critical thought than by looking at a piece of art and asking yourself, what do you see? And the students just gave me all sorts of answers. And I told them, all of your answers are right. What emotions does this make you feel? What associations do you have with this work? And they just started a conversation that could have gone long past our time limit, and I had to cut them short, actually. So we have wonderful works by Pierre Dara, his wife Louise Dara, both speaking to a different time, a different place, different cultures in which the students can be introduced to, different lives. We have Amanya, we have Queen Estoval, who is a local artist. We always try to have some local art up so that the students understand how vibrant and interesting our local community is and has been here in Lynchburg. So it's not just talking about the university, we're also talking about the community as a whole, making the students' lives bigger, you know, hopefully bringing them and engaging them a little bit into the community. Okay, in here we have all Pierre Dara self-portraits. Each one speaking to a different phase of his life, to different emotions, different artistic influences. In correlation with this show up here, we had a show down in the lobby of students' self-portraits in which we asked them to do the same thing. So we had up here as a reference to a lifetime of self-portraits created by an artist, and then asked them to make a self-portrait in the moment in which they were, what they were experiencing, just as Pierre Dara did right here. We've also been focusing this semester on wellness, and we've had every once a month we have a session in which we do meditation, and we do art activities to help promote wellness, to help relieve anxiety. Our students, you know, can come here and find a safe space, find a space to come and create, a space to just come and be with the art. We are a teaching museum. We are highly focused on, you know, on supporting the curriculum of the university. And we're also focused on giving students a safe place to come and just be. We always have activities that you could pick up if you just wanted to make a quick origami star or you wanted to take a coloring page with you to work on later. This is a space to come, to be, to create, to think critically, and to start dialogue. So I hope y'all enjoyed the museum. I hope everybody will come and visit. It's a really special place, and we're here to support the students and their needs as well as the entire Lynchburg community. So come on, see us.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
A good citizen is someone who wants to make a positive impact, both in their communities and in the world around them. The Division III approach is absolutely the best approach out there for amateur sport because it wants student athletes to explore all parts of who they are. Be successful in the classroom, be successful in competition, be successful in the community. So our student athletes learn what it means to strive for and attain success, but doing it the right way and being good citizens.
Welcome to the Campus Recreational Department at the University of Lynchburg. We believe in a student-centered approach to recreation, making sure that all students have fun and engaging activities that promotes wellness, personal growth, and community building.
Our team works to provide a variety of recreation opportunities for all our undergrad and graduate students.
Let's take a look at the different areas of Campus Rec.
Campus Recreation covers all outdoor recreation. Our team offers dozens of trips per semester, maintains recreation facilities on campus, and offers outdoor certificates and leadership training.
Intramurals is open to all students who wants to play on a team. We have men's, women's, and co-ed leagues for each sport we offer.
Those looking for next level competition can join FloSports. These are student-led organizations with the support of Campus Recreation. You can join one of our established club sports, or you can start your own with our support.
Campus Recreation offers an excellent amount of opportunities to stay active, make new friends, and develop new skills. We hope to see you soon.
Think of private education as too.
Lynchburg up a baker's dozen after the first half. It started with a high-flying slam from Jamarcus Brown, and the rest is history in Turner Gymnasium. Welcome back into Turner Gym, the Hill City, Evan Gates, and Kyle Haney. And Kyle, you think about this game, you know it's going to be a close finish most times when these two teams met. So far, it's going against the advertisement.
Yeah, Shenandoah's got work to do if they want it to be a close finish. Now, I think, and I'm pretty sure you agree, they've got the resources, they've got the talent to come back. They will have to play well. You would always like to be the team with the big advantage, Lynchburg in this case.
No doubt. And when you take a look at the stats going into the second half, you recognize Jamarcus Brown has had a very prolonged impact on this game and always a prolific scorer, but he didn't play many minutes in that first half. In fact, with 8 points, just 7 minutes. If he is back and able to capitalize, you feel like it's an even taller task for Shenandoah to come back.
Yeah, I think big standout on the stats there. Lynchburg is absolutely flammable from outside here. 57% from 3. More turnovers for Shenandoah. I think we kind of felt that. The visitors did have a hard time taking care of the ball at times, as you do get a look at the high flyer. He's so much more than that, but those dunks, I mean, he is a showstopper. Jamarcus Brown there, number 35 for Lynchburg. And back to those conference stats. I mean, he's a bona fide first-team all-conference candidate. He's a bona fide player of the year candidate. A lot of basketball left, but he makes a great case. He's got a great resume.
And you take the 5 out of his number, you got number 3, Pearson Young, who also has 8 points to lead the Hornets. And you feel like it has been some of those connections that has helped Lynchburg, especially go into the postseason. Young, a senior, local kid who really knows this program. Jamarcus Brown was ingratiated into it last year because obviously the Hornets had success at the end of the season. A week later, he was going to the NCAA Indoor Championships to be a high jumper. And it feels like with everybody knowing and loving number 35, he's just playing some really good basketball.
He is, and I think he enjoys that. I mean, come on, what player wouldn't like to have a big dunk and see the way the crowd reacts? So he's aware of that. I think, you know, he's not a performer. He's not a professional wrestler or anything, but he does not mind working the crowd and getting them involved, and doesn't mind getting his teammates involved too. Jamarcus Brown, underrated passer, and I love the things you said about Pearson Young. He's not taking this last ride for granted, and he wants this last ride to be extended, get a deep postseason run.
It's been an exciting one so far, but it begs the question, you know, as we go into this part of the game. Shenandoah down 13. Ellis Wright with 12 points to lead their charge. Something's going to have to change. And obviously, the shooting percentage is down considerably, 31% from beyond the perimeter. But what's the biggest key for Coach Doyle?
It's a great question, Evan. I mean, I think if I had that answer, I might be a coach there. We're getting a little Alumni Day announcement here from some of our great alumni. It's Chip Berry, who is very involved in the University of Lynchburg and also a former basketball player here at the university, the old Lynchburg College days, of course. But back to what you said about Shenandoah. I mean, maybe you run a bit more full court pressure if you're Shenandoah. Maybe you try to turn Lynchburg over some. Maybe it's a more half court trapping out of that zone, perhaps. But you're right, something does have to change for Shenandoah. They've gotten some good looks. Maybe you just got to knock down more shots. I don't know. Sometimes it's as simple as that.
And it's going to be an interesting investigation for Coach Doyle and company as they look at the halftime stats and trying to course correct. Mentioned some of the alumni, so many in the house, but you feel like for a program like this here at Lynchburg, you're never guaranteed to have that type of connection. And that's just college sports. You know, you have your folks who go away, or it's been a few years, we're not going to worry about coming back to the Hive. Coach Hillary Scott has created this product that has certainly lasted that time, and everybody is always talking about wanting to come back and see their teammates.
Yeah, another thing Coach Scott does that's a cliche for a lot of teams and coaches is he preaches family. Coach Scott means it. It really, you are part of the family when you come here to Lynchburg, and he does a great job engaging the former players and former coaches too, because there's a lot of them that go different places. Nick Doyle is a former Lynchburg grad assistant himself.
That's right, as Jason Easton's off to the races, goes through contact, couldn't roll it in. That was a strong take to start the second half as Shenandoah immediately turns the ball over. Of course, Coach Doyle was in Lynchburg for a year. Obviously, a lot of coaches have several destinations, and he has been at Shenandoah now in his 4th season, where they hosted their first ODAC playoff game against Lynchburg and got the win. Just continuing to try and create a program of his own, but you know, you see a lot of coaches in the ODAC, who have either been at Lynchburg or they've even been at local schools like Brookville High School.
That's exactly right, yeah. Coach Doyle played at Virginia Wesleyan, so he definitely has some experience around the conference. Ooh, offensive foul, illegal screen.
That time, Joseph Baldwin just barreled through hard, picks up his second. And as we've talked about, foul trouble hasn't been an issue so far, as there's certainly no debate about that one. But you do feel like Jamarcus Brown being out there on the court will help Lynchburg out considerably. 3 personals for Shenandoah's number 4, Dorian Davis.
Yeah, and also Allen's got 3 as well, Evan. So, you know, we spoke about Allen with his size and what a difference maker he is at 6'10". At some point, those guys are going to need to contribute again. If you're Joseph Allen, he's out there right now playing with 3 fouls. So obviously Coach Doyle knows the stakes. He knows I can't just leave these guys on the bench permanently.
Brown trying to go around.
Right there, Evan.
Wow, he looked like he was going for a Euro step and just got hit. And mid-transit, you could say, 2 free throws on the way. You know, it's interesting, too, when you look at this contest, because we've preached about Shenandoah's size and just their athleticism down low. But Lynchburg has certainly not looked outmatched in that department.
No, not at all. I think it's back to the athleticism of guys like Jamarcus Brown, Eli Thomas, even your Pearson Young. I mean, he is deceptively long with the way he jumps and the way he can jump quickly. Doesn't have to load up into the jump. He can just kind of spring off the launch pad quickly.
Brown gets a free throw to make it 9 points, just 1 away from being in double figures again and continuing that streak. Hasn't failed to score 10 in a game this year. Has been all over the blueprint. Pass to Davis. Quick closeout from Hart. Caused a shot off the mark. Tried for the interception. Now Shenandoah's got to get back. Sanusi, nice hustle down the court. Davis will have his reward on the other side.
Great effort by Sanusi. He was actually going to go around the backside of the scorer's table, and then he decided, you guys just take it from here. I'll stay on this side of the court.
Easton off balance turnover. Shenandoah giving Lynchburg a little taste of its own medicine. Scorer's table is never where you want to end up. It always feels like it's a second option. Aren't many pillows down for comfort as Ellis pulls the 3 and the ricochet is out. Ellis Wright in this ball game. He started everyone this year. Led Shenandoah with 12 points in that first half. Trying to find his stroke again. Brown, nasty crossover to get right back to the bucket. Down the well for 2.
He does that too. It's not all dunks. He can make those tough contested finishes. Good body control, good hand-eye coordination to know where to get that ball off the square to have it go down the cylinder.
Shenandoah just looking a little disjointed on this possession. Davis, bounce pass to Sanusi. Got there and lost the basketball. It's a deflection off Brown. And a pair of substitutions as Mike Gray makes his return to the contest for Lynchburg. Shenandoah goes with Samuel Daly. 17:48 to play here in the second half. Lynchburg up 15 in a very comfortable position like that half against Eastern Mennonite. Feels like you don't get many games in the conference where you don't have to sweat it in the final 5 minutes. They'd like to keep that lead.
It's so true, and that's part of what allowed Coach Scott to leave somebody like Jamarcus Brown on the bench for most of the first half when he had 2 fouls. You're playing with a lead. It makes it so much easier. When you're playing from behind like Shenandoah is, you don't really have a choice. You just got to get your best 5 out there.
Long 3. Doesn't connect, and Jesse Mitchell has the rebound down low. Daly charged with the personal. That's Shenandoah's 4th foul in the first 2.5 minutes. And tell you what, with Coach Scott, Jamarcus Brown is obviously one of the talents that is highly revered around the league, but you understand that he could be one of the best in Division III, as you said. And Coach Scott has even said the same words. He said he has a chance to be up there with the top, but he's also up for that challenge. You know, a lot of players sometimes get comfortable with their role. I feel like Brown isn't satisfied yet.
I totally agree. It's going to take more and more hard work, and And as you keep climbing ladders, the next rung gets tougher and tougher. You have to work harder and harder a lot of times to stay as good as you are.
Couldn't connect on the bounce pass to Gray, who's cutting to the rack. Out of bounds, Shenandoah takes over. We'll see if, with the fouls starting to tally up early, if it's stop and go for the final 10 or 15 minutes. Lynchburg, a team that throughout the season has shot 67% from the free throw line. A firm advantage over Shenandoah, who's at 62. Baldwin goes upstairs. Couldn't climb to the attic, but has a second chance. He'll head to the free throw line. That time the foul on Jesse Mitchell. Picked up 2 quick ones to start the second half.
I think a good dribble breakdown here to use the baseline to get to the right side of that backboard. And then again, you get the defense out of sorts. All of a sudden, an offensive rebound makes it even worse. And Mitchell, just in contesting the shot, ends up committing a foul. It just, when you get so many looks inside, too, it gets the referee's attention. They start looking for fouls more as things get more and more chaotic in the paint.
I always talk about the officiating crews and say, you know, when you're not talking about them, they've done a pretty good job. And obviously, consistency is key in that department. Feel like we've seen a good one so far today. Jake Hart splits the top. Pearson Young having to navigate a little more full court pressure. We'll see if Shenandoah reverts back into that zone defense. They sure will. 3-2. Hart looks to the middle. Mitchell off the mark.
Yeah, we've seen Shenandoah use a couple different coverages. You see the 3-2 a lot more now in the modern game because coaches feel like it gives you a player on those wings, whereas the 2-3, all of a sudden those top 2 guys are trying to go from wing to wing to take away the 3. It becomes a little bit easier in the 3-2 setup.
Perimeter play is name of the game nowadays. Beautiful pass, Graydon Brown, and oh, wow. Trying to create the entire highlight reel in one play. Got everybody on their feet. They'll head to the stripe. Wow.
Well, let's give Sanusi some credit. I mean, he tried to meet him up top, which a lot of guys are not going to do. You don't want to get put on a poster, of course. But Sanusi challenged it well, and he's probably going to go back and watch the tape and say, no, that was clean. That was clean. Sometimes the video doesn't lie, but also you don't get the angle the referee had. So I like to contest, honestly.
Tell you what, and you see Jamarcus Brown going to the free throw line and missing that first shot. I think you're feeling a little more better about yourself, saying, you know what, we didn't give him those points, because when he gets in the painted area, he is almost unstoppable. Sanusi did enough to disrupt, but it's still a 15-point lead favoring Lynchburg. Battle of the Hornets here on this Saturday afternoon. Ball for a moment looked like it came off the shoe. Instead, the Hornets start transition. Gray wraparound pass to Young. Tries to get to the mid-range, up and under, and the pass to Mitchell out of bounds.
Right idea from Pearson Young. Really good with the footwork, but the pass not on target.
We've seen just about everything at Turner Gymnasium, and we've still got 16 minutes to go. Stick with us in the Hill City as Lynchburg tries to have back-to-back wins.
Every great college has a great city. For Lynchburg, we are near urban areas with lots of restaurants, shopping, and events. Plus, we are one of the top schools in the area. Come see for yourself.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers.
Alumni Day is alive in the Hive, and it's been a fun celebration so far as you see some of all the Hornets returning to Turner Gymnasium in what has been a really exciting day. And it goes back to the alumni game. It got started at 10 a.m. earlier. You got the Hornets threads, the old school jerseys now as they have the new grays. And it just feels like it has been a very welcome celebration at this time of the year. You're winning this game. Feels festive on the Saturday, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Had a great chat with one of our all-time favorites, John Faust, who was a great basketball player last year and the year before, and then also a big part of our LHSN team.
Dorian Davis swishes the three, and Shenandoah cuts that lead to 12. Saw some of the front row celebrities today. Got Miles Taylor and company, some of the recent alumni from this Lynchburg squad, and obviously they've got to feel happy seeing where this program is at as Michael Gray rattles home the mid-range.
He's so sharp, the backspin on his jumper there. Lethal from that 15-foot range. Got the women's game coming up later as well, so we got that team in the house watching, some of their fans. And you're right, it's a great vibe in the gym.
Baldwin goes up, clipped in the air. He'll have 2 shots. Kyle, you and I have been around the University of Lynchburg for a few years now, and obviously it just always feels special when you see so many of these alumni coming back, not just because of the basketball, but you see what they're doing, you know, whether it's with their jobs or where they're living, and it's just all so different. But it all started right here in the same place.
Yeah, it's something about this place is really special, and it stays with you, stays in your bones and in your blood, and you want to come back and you see the way the school does things to improve, but also make sure they haven't completely left the past. If that makes sense, you know, honor some of those traditions and things like that. And it's really is a fantastic environment. Shenandoah is the same way up in Winchester. Great campus up there, and they do a great job engaging their alumni as well.
I promise you, everybody bleeds red, and sometimes they don't know it until they get to Lynchburg, as Brown has the off-balance jumper, 1 foot, 1 bucket.
Yeah, that'll be the next step for his game. Work that mid and long range, and boy, he's showing it off right now. Full confidence for Jamarcus Brown.
Reversal, this time pulled up from Russ. Clips off the iron. Daly downstairs, dishes out. Ellis right for 3, knocks it in. That's one of those costly offensive rebounds, and Shenandoah capitalized in the early minutes, trying to get it back to a single-figure lead.
Feeling like Shenandoah is getting a little bit of traction here.
What can they do to disrupt the game plan from Coach Scott? It's been exceptional so far. As Pearson Young a little too weak on the shot in the paint. We've seen that float, or the floater mid-range. I don't really know what you call it, but Pearson Young has just found those new angles. Some of the awkward-looking plays can be the ones that are difference makers, as Daly can't get the 3 to fall.
Yeah, they used to talk about 3-level scorers. Now they're talking about 5-level scorers, and you're right, that second level away from the rim, but not in the mid-range, is tricky, and Pearson Young likes to go to that area.
Mike Gray went well upstairs to try and flush it. Couldn't get it to fall. This time right from distance. Can't connect.
Would have cut it to a single-digit deficit for Shenandoah if that went there from Ellis Wright. It was a good look.
Wright in double figures in all but 2 games. One of them was last time out versus Roanoke. No one was in double figures, had just 4 points, as Jake Hart had that left foot on the line, out of bounds. Hornets bring in a new trio. DeAndre Ross, Eli Thomas, and J.J. Henderson. Back into the game for Shenandoah's Matthew Simmons.
That 3-pack for Lynchburg was big in half number 1. Part of the reason they extended a small lead into a double-digit lead. So let's see what that trio gives the home side here with 13 minutes left to play in regulation.
Rarely do you rely on that bench to come in and give you an advantage. It feels like Lynchburg has had the luxury of doing so here in the last few games, as Wright tries to get right down to the well, had it taken away, and the foul is called. Looked like it was a clean swat. It was the contact before that. We'll see who that foul is on. It looks like J.J. Henderson will pick up his first personal. 4th team of the half for Lynchburg. So Lynchburg team 3-1 at home. 9 of their 13 games have been on the road for neutral site, as Dorian Davis dials from deep.
Single digits. It's such a psychological hurdle to clear, to get that double-digit deficit to single digits. Shenandoah is in this game, Evan.
Mentioned, these games are never lopsided. You're seeing it on your screen as Mike Gray gets a strong take. Timeout called with 12:23 left in the second half. You love the crafty offense from this Lynchburg team. They make it an 11-point lead in Turner Gymnasium.
From being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team to running a local Parks and Rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration in the MBA program sets you up for success, and it sets you apart from the many other people looking for jobs in the industry. Learn from winners. Here you will learn from professors and mentors who have spent their careers doing exactly what you want to do. Increase your marketability in an $83 billion industry. If you have a 3.0 GPA, the GMAT is waived. There's no application fee, admissions occurs on a rolling basis, and our online program is ideal for working adults. When you enroll in this program, you enroll in the opportunity to learn from the best of the best. Your professors have a wealth of experience working in the sport industry that they share with you in the classroom setting. Get in the game by getting your MBA with a sport management concentration at the University of Lynchburg. You know, Hollywood, here I come.
Welcome back to the cozy confines of the University of Lynchburg. A rainy Saturday as Lynchburg leads 55-44. We'll take a look at standings from around the ODAC. Obviously, still early in the year, and you feel like when we consider the fact that Virginia Wesleyan is the only team up top with a 3-0 mark, everybody else has now lost a game. Randolph-Macon dropped one to Averett, one of the biggest upsets we've seen in the conference in a long time as Davis is off the mark. Ultimately, it is anybody's game when you get to the postseason tournament.
I mean, it feels like a big upset, but that Averett squad is sneaky good, and I think they're going to be a force come March in the ODAC. I mean, you never know. Again, you never know. The competition is so stiff, but I think that Cougar team is probably underrated by some folks as we get another timeout.
We'll keep it here for the moment as we go through some of the scores from the ODAC. This has been very interesting because you look at Hampton-Sydney, a team who obviously Lynchburg beat last year. They've still been right there in some of those national marks, 59-43 over Bridgewater right now as every game started at 2 o'clock. So you're going to get to keep your eyes feasted. Lynchburg an advantage 55-44 here in Turner Gymnasium. Has there been any team around the ODAC? You mentioned Averett already, but somebody who has come out and surprised you early in the year?
Well, yeah, the Averett Cougars would have actually been my top pick there, and maybe not just because of that upset against Randolph-Macon. It's tough for me to take Lynchburg because we're so heavily invested, but I do think the Lynchburg Hornets have surprised some people. You know, I've heard that from some other folks just talking about how they've played. Other thoughts, I mean, I think we had a pretty good idea that Roanoke and Hampton-Sydney and Randolph-Macon were all going to be really good. Maybe the fact that Guilford, the Quakers, struggling a bit, that might be somewhat of a surprise to me. Not exactly answering your question, honestly, maybe going away from your question. But I think Guilford's still a good team, but the record's a little head-scratching.
Well, you know, I got to support your alma mater. Obviously, we're going back to Averett. They're winning the game against Virginia Wesleyan right now, 43-37. And yes, Lynchburg will travel to Virginia Beach to play Virginia Wesleyan next, but that just shows they are no joke. It is not a one-game thing to go out and beat Randolph-Macon. They have been competing with everybody at the top.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's a Cougar team, 9-3. I mean, they're 9-3 on the season, 6-1 at home. So you can say, oh, well, let's look at the competition. Okay, they've won 9 ball games. I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for that in the course of a college basketball season, or at least here in early January anyway.
It can be hard to do that, before January ends. And several teams in the ODAC right there in that conversation. J.J. Henderson gets 2 at the stripe, 57-44. Lynchburg back up to that 13-point lead. Simmons trotting across the timeline, trying to get there as Lynchburg applied the pressure. Coach Scott out of his seat, wanting a back court. Here's Dorian Davis from the corner. Clutch to knock it in.
Yeah, that felt necessary for Shenandoah. It really did. Brings it back within 10.
Should clarify in that last play, likely more of a traveling violation that would have been what was offered, not necessarily back court. Sometimes when you feel like your opposition gets just that window, they'll take advantage. Gray went upstairs, couldn't get it, and Eli Thomas, some extra physicality on the tie-up. He likes it, and that's just one of the types of plays that is a trademark of number 0 in Gray.
Yeah, that's it. That's going to be on his highlight reel. The other one, you know, that he saved in bounds will as well. Yeah, he's just not going to lose that tug of war. You might tie him in the tug of war, but you're not going to beat Eli Thomas.
I don't want to have to try, as Henderson dumps it in downstairs.
And that's Eli Thomas right there, extending that play. Arrow gives it to Lynchburg so they get that opportunity. But that's what Eli Thomas does. So many things that aren't going to pop out in the stat sheet, but he's a game winner.
Always just a team-first guy, and that's the reason Coach Scott has been so fortunate to keep him. Graduated last year, but still redshirt junior. As a nice move from Baldwin to go right around, out of bounds. Lynchburg will take over.
Yeah, Eli Thomas can guard inside, he can guard outside, and then he plays with a smile on his face. You saw it right there, too. I mean, he's so engaged. I think he's going to be one of those guys, if he wants to coach, he's going to make a really great coach because he's going to bring that energy and that hard-working mindset to that side of the basketball game.
Not always easy to translate to your players because that can be a one-of-one thing, but when you have a coach who believes and motivates you like that, that can be the first step to success.
When you've been around him too, you know his personality. He's got one of those contagious type of personalities.
Always eager to go out there for his team as Mike Gray dials up a 3.
More separation now thanks to guys like Eli Thomas and Michael Gray. All these players we've been talking about all game long, they're getting it done here for Lynchburg.
Back-to-back games with double figures. Gets the rebound on the defensive side. Lynchburg looking to pull away from the station as we're in the final 10 minutes. Foul under the basket. And that bails out Lynchburg as that pass looked like it was well towards out of bounds. There's another look at that shot. Wow. 5 threes in that last game, and that stroke looks like it's just about perfect for 5 and Gray.
Love that rotation on that ball. You know, you can be an outlier to where you're a great shooter without the great rotation. Think back to a guy like Allen Iverson. He kind of shot a knuckleball. But I think you do see that common thread with most of the great shooters. Got great backspin, great rotation. Michael Gray has that. You can just watch him in warm-ups, and the ball comes off different.
That's why sometimes you can't be surprised to see the surges in that points total when he goes out and puts up over 30 against Roanoke. Obviously went nuclear during that stretch of the postseason. So certainly no surprise. Shenandoah to the corner. Russ for 3, rattles it home. That's a big-time shot, a momentum staller for the opposing Hornets. 9:54 on the clock. We'll take a quick break from Turner Gym. Lynchburg trying to get to the finish line in front.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and road schools. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
When creating a sustainable future, your choices matter, even your choice of a college. The University of Lynchburg is the first college in Virginia to go carbon neutral. Our dining hall is Green Restaurant certified. We compost all of our food waste and purchase our electricity from landfill gas. Now we're turning a hazardous lake into a thriving urban wetland. When you choose
Hornets with the basketball inside the final 10 minutes. Evan Gates and Kyle Haney spending this Saturday afternoon with you. What has been a very thrilling start for Lynchburg this season. holding on to that winning record 8-5, looking to extend it 3-1 in conference play. Gray pass to Palmore, as to Hoist from the corner, and got it stuck. I don't know how you get a wedgie from that part, or that deep in the corner, because the chances, you know, you go to Vegas, you're probably making a lot of money on that.
Yeah, that's a tough angle, you're right, to get it stuck right there. And always a little bit humorous when it happens. It's always funny except to the guy that shot it.
See, it was bad for us at the park back in the days, because then we couldn't get the basketball back. Not tall enough to go up there like some of the guys on the court. Gray with another rebound, starting to stack them up here in the second half. Feels like the Hornets are comfortable where they're at, trying to protect the lead and possession. Gray dials another. Feel like from deep, he's starting to get that confidence back. Here's Matthew Simmons. Off to Sanusi. Offense to dip down low, off balance, and Henderson the rebound. There comes Palmore. Strong dribbles right to the bucket, through traffic and in.
Love that there on the one-man fast break. He kind of channels the defender inside. He kind of slow-mo feints inside and then changes direction, brings it in from the lane line left there with speed.
The paint points, the layups, they continue to grow for this Lynchburg team, who has an exceptional advantage over Shenandoah in that department, 22-4. Referees will chat and correct the foul as Ellis Wright was ready to go into the ball game. Lynchburg already in the bonus here in these final 10 minutes. 5 fouls on the hometown Hornets, so still 2 for Shenandoah to get there. Pass to Sanusi. Top to Ellis Wright. Spent several minutes on the bench, and you got to think he'll go the distance for the rest of this game. Receives the pass and can't connect. Have a chance for 2. That'll be a foul on Pearson Young.
You're talking about these guys going the distance. I mean, I think this is that point that we talked about a little bit for Nick Doyle, the head coach for Shenandoah. You just got to get your best 5 out there, or the 5 you think is going to give you the best chance to erase this 14-point deficit. And if guys foul out, then so be it. But when you're down 14, your options are quite a bit more limited.
Especially against a team like Lynchburg, who is one of the quicker ones in the country. Shenandoah, inversely, a very slow team. So you're not going to get your points back in bunches.
Might need to shoot more threes if you're Shenandoah, maybe. Some teams don't think like that. Some teams think we actually have to go more high percentage. We need to go to the basket more and get a closer proximity look. So there are different schools of thought there.
Several players who have those high percentage field goals. And Pearson Young from downtown post another 3. Lynchburg's percentage out of the roof in the first half, over 50%. Ellis Wright, one of the high percentage shooters for Shenandoah, as Dorian Davis can't get this one to fall. It just feels like the way that Lynchburg has paid attention to him on the defensive end makes it very tough to come back, as the Hornets have grown that lead to 16 points. Media break here in the Hill City. We'll be back on the other side for more action than the Alumni Day festivities.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
This is the dough. It's wicked cute. It's always so pretty.
7:21 to go as Shenandoah is trying to creep back into this basketball game. Starting conference play 0-3. And that could be dangerous territory early in the ODAC slate. Baldwin trying to go downstairs as J.J. Henderson played tight defense. He'll be charged with the personal. That'll be his second.
Yeah, you got Allen back out there with 2 fouls. Allen's got 4 fouls, I beg your pardon. Baldwin 2, but I like the idea there. Try to get a little physical block to block. See if you can get some points inside. As we talked about, every possession counts for Shenandoah. I mean, every possession matters.
48% shooter from the stripe. Converts on the first. Both teams now playing bonus ball. Obviously, you talk about the rebounding battle, something that was emphasized in the first half. Lynchburg still +3 in that category. There's a tie up right under the bucket. Nice hustle from Shenandoah to get there. And it will be Lynchburg basketball. You know, you look at rebounding, you obviously think about the Boardman champ. You know, it's Alumni Day. We'll talk about that honor a little bit. It goes to the player who has the most rebounds in practice and the game for that week. And Jamarcus Brown has now collected 7 consecutive honors.
Yeah, feels like he's almost in that undisputed category where they might have to have a B flight or a different competition for everybody other than Jamarcus Brown.
I always say there's one belt literally in this category. So it's an old wrestling belt that the winner receives. Palmore's 3 off the mark, and unfortunately feels like that weight, you could say that weight class maybe is dominated by 1 or 2. Baldwin kicks out right for 3, falling down in front of the bench. There is a rebound for Brown.
Yeah, he's all over the boards, understands rebounding.
We waste no time getting to his spot as well. The float job up and in.
Yeah, again, it's his physical gifts, but also he understands how to apply them to scoring, like we just saw, and rebounding, as we were talking about.
Lynchburg's defense getting back to the spot. Baldwin wanted to go down. Here's Wright finding the big man. Allen fouled on the way up. This is that type of physical game we expected. 2 teams that have that size down low, as Jamarcus Brown will be charged with his 4th. So a mini victory for Coach Doyle.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, we've been talking and singing Jamarcus Brown's praises all game long. He now has 4, so it's decision time for Hillary Scott. And again, Coach Scott can make that decision by virtue of the lead that Lynchburg has right now. That really helps. In a tie ball game, he might just have to leave Jamarcus Brown out there. But now Coach Scott has some options.
Tyler Buggs into the game, and we saw him enter late in that first half, played some strong defense. They're going to need it. Shenandoah will certainly try to have a furious surge these final 6 minutes. You think about how these games have ended in the last few years. Pearson Young, a game-winning shot last time out to win by 2, in which both matchups were decided by a combined 6. Just a few years ago in this gym, a buzzer beater from Joshua Stephen to sink Lynchburg on Alumni Day in 2023. Hornets want to get there more comfortably as Pearson Young going to run through contact and head over to the free throw line. That's becoming a familiar destination. Both teams now at 8 fouls.
Yeah, good possession here by Lynchburg, especially when you factor in they're up and you run some shuffle, some flex, and you get the defense sort of floating out at or above the free throw line. Pearson Young sees that, takes advantage. Good take to get to the glass.
2 shots on the way. First one converts. Pearson Young, of course, the senior out of Virginia Episcopal. Right down the road, the assist record holder at the school. Think about last season, he was 2nd on the team, averaged 11 points per game. He has been in another elevated role, and just that leadership really feels like there's no one person who is the dominant or alpha man on this team. It's really by committee, but Pearson Young has definitely a punctuated impact.
No, I agree. He can be an engine. He can be a steering wheel. He's an organizer out there on the floor. His dad was very good high school coach. His sister was a fantastic basketball player. He's a gym rat. You'll probably find him in here tomorrow on the off day shooting by himself.
Bugs plays tight defense on Baldwin. Nice work to keep Shenandoah from getting to the rim. Lynchburg perhaps wanting to slow down the offense as Palmore calls out the play. Feels like 6 players on the court right now as Coach Scott shouts his instructions. Over from Henderson to Young. Reversals with 10 on the ticker. Young ready to fire from downtown. Front iron and out. Wright somehow got that pass disrupted. Here come the Hornets. Down to Davis, off the glass. Pretty work to get that hand there first.
And it was a quick bucket for Shenandoah. That's going to be big down the stretch here. Just 4.5 minutes left to play. Again, they have to maximize every single possession.
Both teams back and forth here in the second half. Lynchburg had the advantage firmly after one. 44-31, they led after the first 20 minutes. Tyler Bugs will have his chance at the free throw line.
So if you're Lynchburg, obviously the situation, you'd like to maximize all your possessions, but you do have some wiggle room. One place you really want to be sharp down the stretch is the free throw line.
Exactly what they do on the first, and lucky enough for the hometown Hornets, next foul, they're going to get 2 shots no matter what. Those fouls early in the second half for Shenandoah might come back to bite them in an attempt at a comeback. Shenandoah team who didn't lose a game until after Thanksgiving, but quickly had some conference losses to Bridgewater, Everett, and Roanoke. Tough schedule as well as Ellis. Wright pulls up from way beyond the perimeter. Gets the timeout and a chance to talk things over as Shenandoah keeps it at a 14-point deficit. They'll try to climb back on the other side here on Alumni Day in Turner Gymnasium. We'll see if Lynchburg can capture the victory.
It's almost April, and you guessed it, Give Day is coming.
It's been 119 years since the university was founded by Josephus Hopwood in April of 1903 with a gift of $100.
We're not asking that everyone give $3,000, though we won't turn you down if you do. How much you give isn't the point. It's that you join in on Give Day to give what you can.
$1 can't buy a cup of coffee, but if we all pitch in, those dollars can help fund some really impressive stuff.
Your help is improving our athletic facilities. I mean, have you seen this scoreboard? It's perfect for games and movie nights.
It may not be flashy, but you've helped update the AC and Hopsigler, and that's huge.
Think about it. We've got a cadaver lab in here.
And if that isn't your thing, this digital anatomy table was also funded with help of people just like you.
Remember when we had problems with the dam? Well, we've been working with the city to replace the old bridge, add the new traffic circle.
Going to take a look at around the ODAC as we have our updated standings. Virginia Wesleyan has been the only team undefeated in conference play. Obviously, Everett's going to be a team that's really having a tough test against them, and you feel like, you know, going into the next few weeks, there's going to be nobody unblemished.
Good point about nobody unblemished here the next couple weeks. So it is truly a free-for-all, and I think teams like Lynchburg and Everett, they should fancy their chances to maybe not just get in the tournament, but maybe you can host a first-round game if you're somebody like Lynchburg or Everett.
There's a lot to play for, and if we get another break, we'll have a chance to take a look at Lynchburg's upcoming schedule. Obviously not easy, and a lot of teams who are going to be vying for some of those top spots to host as Mike Gray goes all the way and connects the dots. An emphatic statement off the bench. Once again, 12 points on the day.
What a player, what a player. Shooter, slasher, scorer, and he does it all at a high level. He'll find a way to beat you. That's one of those guys you've got to have on your team if you want to be successful.
Mike Gray, of course, advertised for his shooting, the stroke we've talked about all day long, but it is so much more when he is dialed in. You just feel like that ability to be in the lineup more often, getting these minutes when a lot of times other teams are going to their second chart of substitutions. Davis was clipped on the three. It clitters out.
Well, think about Mike Gray as a passer as well. And even on those slashes on the drives, he keeps the pass alive so late that he has that option to go to. Really complete player.
Bugs far outside. This Lynchburg team trying to have firm passes. They've looked confident all day long. Gray again, ready to hoist, and foul is called. It's good if it went.
Yeah. Yeah, tough break there. I mean, Bugs has kind of got the hands extended, wondering what he did. It's just his first foul, by the way. And since it was on offense, it will not result in free throws, even though it's Lynchburg's 9th.
3 to go here in the Hill City. Stick around for the women's game. An exciting one as they take on Averett. Mid-range falls. Shenandoah going to pull out all the stops, full court pressure.
And Davis has got 22. He's trying his best.
Henderson stalled, and Shenandoah takes over. They're going to need some pace here in the final few minutes. Going right into the mix. Baldwin lucky that that foul was called before the ball was swiped away, and Jamarcus Brown summoned to the scores table.
Well, it tells you what Hillary Scott thinks about the game, doesn't it? He knows this game is not completely done and dusted. The ink is not dry on the latest Lynchburg win. It would be win number 9 of the season. So still a lot to play for here. Shenandoah's got to be perfect down the stretch. I mean, A+ isn't even going to be enough here, I don't think, Evan. They've got to be 100%, maybe some extra credit, down 14 after that free throw falls.
They've got a lot of their mainstays in the ball game. Tyler Bugs just picked up his 2nd foul, so maybe another incentive to bring Brown back in. Leads Lynchburg with 16 points, does have 4 fouls. Goes up for the rebound, and that's a big one for Lynchburg to take more time off the clock.
Brown's got 16 points in 18 minutes played. If he gets a bucket here, he's going to be at a point per minute. Not going to happen right now, though, as Lynchburg loses it.
Not a bad efficiency stat by any stretch. This time, Simmons. Gonna need a little bit of late game magic. We'll see if Shenandoah can get their shooting on the right pace. Now looking right downstairs, up and almost in. Baldwin trying to get the and one. He'll have 2 shots. We've said his name a lot this afternoon. He's played 30 or more minutes on 8 occasions this year. This one will fall into that category as well, right at 30. Starting 40 games in a Shenandoah uniform as well.
Yeah, really good player, Joseph Baldwin. He's a Virginia guy, and another one with the size that I think Shenandoah, you know, can you find a way to lean into that going forward? I mean, easy to say that because other teams have size as well. They're not necessarily unique in that department, but you do have to find a way to play to your strengths, and that's something that not every team has figured out at this point. You hear coaches all the time saying, well, we're trying to find our identity. Honestly, some teams never really do. You never necessarily find your strong suits. The successful seasons, you do, though.
The Shenandoah team will lose Dorian Davis and Matthew Simmons from that starting lineup, but you feel like the blueprint has to be around Ellis Wright, right?
Yeah.
Sophomore, he's going to be back for 2 seasons. The question is, do you get the guard play and the complementary pieces to find success?
Yeah, you've got Big John Allen coming back, who I've mentioned multiple times. I love his game. You're right. How do those pieces complement each other? Can you add somebody next year that not only complements them, but maybe you can add a difference maker type of player? I mean, that's the hope for every coach, right? That you could find a freshman that could step in and start right away. Easier said than done, but you feel like Shenandoah is maybe just a piece away.
Certainly, and obviously this year is going to be tough, right? You're digging yourself in a hole, 0-4 to start the year. But this Lynchburg team is in the other side of it. They've started the year perfectly in ODAC play, 4-1 if they get this win. now you know you got to go against the big dogs. And that's where that confidence has to translate. What's going to be the big message from Coach Scott, knowing that they are right where they need to be?
I think continue the hard work, understand that it's not always going to be easy. Understand they might have to get away from their A game or even their B game. Understand you could have a game where Jamarcus Brown is in foul trouble. We got to find a way to score without him. You could have a game where Mike Gray is off or he's in foul trouble. We got to figure that out as well. Lynchburg's got the resources. They really do. I think this is a fully operational battle station when they're hitting on all cylinders. But again, with the ODAC, it's going to have to be to beat some of those ranked teams.
No doubt about it. This Lynchburg team, as pointed out by Coach Hillary Scott, plays every Wednesday and Saturday from December 13th to February 4th. That's over a month and a half. And so you consider, as you craft the schedule, just getting that consistency. And it gets a little bit easier when you know you're going to have a few days between every single game. You don't have those early season tournaments, and it just allows you to recover, to have those main pieces in the lineup.
And no more back-to-back, so you can really craft that game plan. You can work your walkthroughs and your shoot-arounds and all those things as well. So you should not be unprepared, or you really shouldn't even be underprepared for any future opponent, at least maybe not till the tournament. And at that point, you've seen everybody anyway.
That's when you rely on a little thing called adrenaline.
Yeah.
You've had a few days between every game, and all of a sudden, it is a sprint to the finish line from Salem. Shenandoah camped out right at half court, somehow kept it on the right side of it. Looking for reversals, they find the corner right, ready to fire. And the rebound belongs to Mike Gray. Lynchburg, with a win, will improve to the work shift 9-5 record. They'll look to improve it on the road at Virginia Wesleyan, as Jamarcus Brown went all the way up. Has to find his way back down to the other side of the court now. Davis up and just too soft. It hasn't been the most emphatic, most exclamatory way to get a win, but Lynchburg has just had a steady pace throughout this one. Not many lead changes, and held a 13-point advantage after the first half. That was more than enough to get in front of the Shenandoah Hornets, as Ellis Wright pulls from downtown, knocks home another. 45 seconds to go. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back from Turner Gym.
And with your support, College Lake is turning into a new urban wetland that students can learn in for years to come.
I mean, the Lynchburg Fund helps everywhere.
Lynchburg started with a $100 gift. That gift, combined with 119 years of hard work, dedication, and love, turned into all of this. Imagine what your gift can do.
Gift Day 2022 is just around the corner. And today I'm inviting you to make history with me on Thursday, April 7th. During those 24 hours, we'll look back on one.
Let's take a look at Lynchburg's upcoming schedule as we enter the final 45 seconds of this contest. 78-65 Lynchburg. Virginia Wesleyan and Hampton-Sydney on the road coming up. You see a nice home stretch to begin February, but you feel like these next few games are imperative.
No, they really are. You have to maximize your moments. Could be a Virginia Wesleyan team that's coming off a loss from the Averitt Cougars. That game's still going on right now, I think. But yeah, nothing about that schedule is easy. Nothing at all. You're not going to go undefeated. I don't know that that's unrealistic, but how many of those games can you win? How many of those games can you give yourself a chance to win late? How about that?
Looked at the schedule late last night, thought my eyes were blurry when I saw Virginia Wesleyan and Hampton-Sydney and Roanoke, and I saw them again. And that's because you're playing them at home and on the road. And obviously not the opponents you want to have to see twice, but this Lynchburg team, they're going to be battle-tested going to the postseason. I think Coach Scott's going to appreciate that.
Yeah, he's going to look at that as an opportunity. He's going to say, guys, what a great opportunity we have to beat these teams once or 2 times. You know, what a great opportunity we have to see where we stack up. Let's put our best against their best and let the chips fall where they may. I think that's what the kind of Coach Scott is. He wants to test himself. He really does. And he wants his team to have that same attitude. Guys, let's not dodge people. Let's not hope somebody has a starter out. Let's go after somebody and see where we're at. Let's come out swinging. Maybe we lose. Maybe we get knocked out. Maybe we hit them with a knockout punch.
Very much a glass half full kind of guy. And you look back to that Hampton-Sydney win last year in the ODAC quarterfinals.
Yeah.
I think that's what Lynchburg appreciates the most, is they did it when that team was at full strength in their house. Shenandoah, perhaps one more opportunity. Window dressing on the scoreboard. Gray gets the rebound. An Alumni Day victory here for Lynchburg. Finally, a double-digit win against Shenandoah. You got to go back a few years to get to that. Starting ODAC play 4-1. Everybody on their feet for the hometown Hornets.
Satisfying win here for Lynchburg. Really has to be. Continues a good trend for them. They didn't get over that 90 or 84-point mark that I was talking about, whatever it was, but 78-65 is going to feel really good as you get some highlights of some of those high flyers like Jamarcus Brown. Shenandoah, all's not lost for them, but at 0-4 in the ODAC, it's going to feel like a long bus ride back to Winchester, unfortunately, for Nick Doyle and his group.
Got to keep our eyes peeled on all the ODAC scores. A lot of 2 o'clock games today. And, of course, if you're looking at the 4:30 slate, that's the women's game as Lynchburg takes on Averett on Alumni Day. It's been an exciting one here from the Hill City. Lynchburg led by Jamarcus Brown's 18 points, 3 in double figures as the Hornets get the win 78-65. A big thanks to everybody on the crew. We'll get out of here so the women's crew can take over, but it's been a fun one. Thanks to everybody and our director, Joe Brennan. On behalf of my good friend Kyle Haney, I'm Evan Gates, saying so long from the Hill City.